Hi everyone, welcome back to English for You. I'm Pat.
And I'm Elsie.
And we're on day 2 of our story article, Still Alice. Now yesterday we met Alice and her husband John. They're respected professors.
没错，他们是大学里面受尊敬的教授。But something was going on with Alice.
Yeah, I mean, we started off with a kind of a hint. She wondered how John sometimes can't see things that are close to him. Oh, he's always forgetting his glasses. Silly man. He's so smart. How can he forget his glasses? But it turns out it's going to be Alice that has problems remembering things.
So Alice was traveling to give a speech at Stanford University, but...
Yeah, she felt comfortable, she felt confident, but during the address, she forgets a word, and this isn't normal.
Right, and later she argues with one of her children, Lydia, who wants to be an actress.
Or actor, you know, it's
both
actor,
are okay.
actress, both are fine. Not ambitious enough for this very ambitious family. But that's not the only thing. She didn't just forget a word in her speech, there was something else.
Right, she also forgets her phone in the restaurant.
Right.
And the waiter was running after her.
So it seems like Alice is having more and more problems remembering things. And that's where we're going to pick up the story in day 2. Let's read through it now.
Reading.
Still Alice. When similar problems keep happening, Alice becomes anxious that there's an underlying cause. She goes to see a specialist, Dr. Davis. After doing tests, he has some difficult news for her. Alice has Alzheimer's disease. It will weaken her brain over time. It can't be cured. What's worse, Dr. Davis says this type of Alzheimer's is often genetic. Her children could have it too. The news knocks the wind out of Alice. She's only 50 years old. When they hear the news, Tom and Anna get tested. To everyone's horror, Anna tests positive. This means she'll likely get Alzheimer's when she's older. Lydia, meanwhile, refuses to take the test. She doesn't want to know if she'll get sick too. Over the following months, Alice's memory quickly gets worse. Soon, it affects her work so much that she has to give up her job. Alice forms a support group of other Alzheimer's patients, which makes her feel understood. However, she struggles with not being busy.
So the article begins and says these kind of memory issues aren't going away. It says when similar problems keep happening, Alice becomes anxious that there's an underlying cause. So let's look at the word anxious first. If you're anxious about something, you're nervous, you're worried, you can't quite relax about a particular thing. Maybe you can't stop thinking about it, worrying about how it's going to turn out. You're not sure about the future, and that's bothering you now. For example, you could say, I'm really anxious about these big tests. I really need to get good grades on them.
Anxious 这个情绪呢，就是焦虑的、不安的。Be anxious that 加上子句，可以带出焦虑不安的事情究竟是什么。那也可以像例句一样，直接用名词接在后面，那就会是 be anxious about something. So, for example, I'm anxious about the upcoming job interview. 代表我对即将来临的工作面试感到焦虑。And here, Alice is anxious that there's an underlying cause.
Exactly. Now, this word underlying is quite a good one. It's not as common as some of the other words we often see in our magazine. If something's an underlying, it means it's a significant but not necessarily an obvious cause for something. So it's like the real reason why something is happening even if we can't see it.
Right, it's kind of hidden.
Yeah, for example, I have a particular disease and it made me feel very tired. So I thought, oh, I'm just very busy at work. I just need a weekend off to relax. It turned out there's an underlying health problem with the way my body works. So that would be an example of this kind of thing.
Right.
I didn't think about the health problem. It wasn't obvious, but it really was the exact real meaning. So here's another example. The underlying cause of the couple's breakup was the fact that the boyfriend wasn't confident about himself. This led to many different problems. So it's saying on the surface, oh, maybe they're different people, they argue a lot, they have different interests, but the real reason that you don't necessarily see straight away, the boyfriend isn't confident.
没错，所以呢 underlying 这个形容词呢，代表真正的根本的，也就是表面上看不到，但是它藏在底层，你要把它挖掘出来才知道的东西。所以呢 the underlying cause 或是 the underlying reason, the underlying problem, 那就是真正根本的原因或问题。那当相似的问题在发生的时候呢 Alice 就担心了，是不是有一个真正的原因在那边？
Okay, so what does she do? The article says she goes to see a specialist, Dr. Davis. A specialist is an expert in a particular field, an area, and we often use this in medical terms, a medical specialist, someone who is really good at one particular area of the body, a heart specialist, a bone specialist, something like that.
Specialist 代表的是专科医生或是专家，那他去看了医生，也就是专门在看这一方面的医生。
So this doctor is obviously very good on memory and those kinds of things, brain stuff. And we see in the article, after doing tests, he has some difficult news for her.
今天的 Language in Focus 要讲到的是 before 跟 after 的用法。从属连接词 after 或 before 它引导的副词子句当中与主要子句的主词一致的时候，你可以省略从属子句当中的主词，并且将该子句的动词改为现在分词。如果是 be 动词的话，你可以直接把它省略。课文当中的这个句子 After doing tests, he has some difficult news for her. 省略之前是什么样子呢？ After he does tests, he has some difficult news for her. 那再来给同学们一个例句哦。After she heard the news, she started crying. 我们可以把它改为 After hearing the news, she started crying. 也就是听到消息之后，她开始哭泣。那如果是 before 的句子呢，你可以说 Before you go to bed, you need to finish your homework. 那因为前后主词相同，你可以把它改为 Before going to bed, you need to finish your homework. 也就是去睡觉之前，你要完成作业。
So what is this difficult news? Well, the article says Alice has Alzheimer's disease. Now, this disease causes the loss of memory and other brain functions, and it does get worse over time.
OK， 所以呢，这边说到Alice 得到的是阿兹海默症，这就是医生告诉她不好的消息的 difficult news。那这个疾病呢，会造成记忆和其他大脑功能的丧失，而且会随着时间恶化。
As the article says, it will weaken her brain over time. Weaken just means to make weaker. It's taking the adjective and making it a verb.
所以有的时候呢，我们可以在形容词的字尾加上 en， 把它变成一个动词，像是 weak 变成 weaken， 代表使点点点衰弱。dark 变成 darken， 那就是变暗。bright 变成 brighten， 那就是使东西变亮。
And this will happen over time. So it's not a quick thing. It's not suddenly, like that word yesterday. It's kind of slowly as time passes.
Over time 这个片语呢，代表逐渐地随着时间过去，所以随着时间过去呢，这个疾病会使脑部衰弱，是慢慢的进行。
Okay, and of course, one of the things about Alzheimer's is said in the article, it can't be cured.
代表呢，它是没有办法被治愈的。然后呢，课文告诉我们 ，What's worse, Dr. Davis says this type of Alzheimer's is often genetic.
Yeah, there are a few different types, some relating to just you and others are genetic. We'll explain that in a moment. So here we have this phrase, what's worse? Now, what's more is a similar phrase that adds new information. What's worse introduces new information, but it's the biggest problem or worst thing after one or more other bad things have already been introduced. It's raining, and what's worse, I don't have an umbrella.
What's worse 通常放在句首逗点之后呢，带出更糟的事情。那如果是 What's more， 那就是带出更多的资讯。那这边呢，更糟的是，医生说这类的阿兹海默症呢，通常是 genetic。Yeah,
genetic is related to our genes and our DNA. And when we use it to modify the word disease, a genetic disease, this is a disease that's caused by a problem in our genes that's passed down through families. You didn't catch it from outside. It just happened because something went wrong in the code of your body.
所以呢 genetic 这个形容词代表基因的、遗传的，那跟这个字当然相关，也就是 genes 基因。
And what this means, of course, as the article says, is her children could have it too.
没错，这样代表呢，他的孩子也有可能得到。And then the article tells us the news knocks the wind out of Alice.
Right, this is a useful idiom to knock the wind out of somebody. Basically means it stops somebody with a great amount of shock. You're just like, you've been punched and all the air has come out of you and you just kind of need to sit down. You can't have any idea. What do I do? What do I think? My entire world has been turned upside down.
OK， 所以当你看到主词放的是消息，后面接 knock the wind out of somebody， 代表这个消息让某人喘不过气来，所以呢，可能是这个消息过于震惊，让这个人平复不过来他的情绪。那这个消息呢，让 Alice 喘不过气来。
For the article says she's only 50 years old, so this is reasonably young to start getting Alzheimer's. It tends to come a bit later.
Right， 他才50岁。然后呢，课文说啊 ，When they hear the news, Tom and Anna get tested. Get tested， 它是用动词 get 带出被动语态，后面 tested 是一个过去分词，表示被检验。那 Tom 跟 Anna， 也就是 Alice 的孩子，也接受检验。
Okay, so they get their test to see what happens, and we find to everyone's horror, Anna tests positive. So this phrase, to somebody's horror, describes the emotional event or the emotional reaction that a piece of news or an event produces. We could use to someone's surprise, to someone's anger. Whatever happens, this news makes them feel that feeling. Here it's horror. So, oh my God.
没错 to one's horror 代表的是使某人震惊、恐惧。那 to one's surprise 那就是让某个人惊讶的事。To one's disappointment 代表让某人失望的事。To one's relief 那就是让某人放松的事。那 for example, to my disappointment, he didn't show up at the party 代表让我失望的是他没有在派对上出现。And back to our story, to everyone's horror, Anna tests positive.
That's right. So the word positive here is used to talk about a test result. And a positive test result is where something is true or something is present. So if you're getting tested for a disease and you get a positive result, you have the disease. If you're testing to see, am I pregnant, and you get a positive result, that means, yep, I'm going to have a baby. Here's an example sentence. After testing positive for COVID-19, Dan had to stay in the hospital for 3 weeks.
Positive 这个形容词呢，在这边解释为医学检验当中呈阳性的，所以当你看到主词 test positive， 代表这个人被检验出阳性。所以刚刚 Pat 给的例句 ，somebody test positive for COVID-19， 那就代表他得到了 COVID。那相反的，我们就会用 negative， 代表是阴性的。那课文说到呢，让大家害怕的是 Alice 的女儿检验出阳性。
So what does this result mean? The article explains this means she'll likely get Alzheimer's when she's older.
这代表呢，她可能以后会得到这个疾病。然后课文接着说 Lydia, meanwhile, refuses to take the test.
Yeah, we'll talk a bit about that a little later on. Let's look at the word refuse. It's a verb and it means to say no to something. You turn down an offer. You turn down an opportunity. You just go, no, I don't want to do that. For example, even though Edward was sick, he refused to see a doctor.Refuse
这个动词呢，代表拒绝、回绝，所以 refuse to do something 那就是拒绝做某事。所以 meanwhile 在此同时 Lydia 拒绝检验。
Okay, and why, you might ask? The answer is she doesn't want to know if she'll get sick too.
她不想知道自己是不是也会生病。然后呢，课文接着说 Over the following months, Alice's memory quickly gets worse.
Yeah, so it seems this is affecting her quite quickly.So,
what does memory mean? 我们来看一下吧。
So a memory, this can mean like a picture in your brain, something you remember from the past, like, oh, what a great memory from that day. But what we're using it here to mean is a person's ability to remember facts, remember people, remember how to do tasks and so on. You could say, I'm losing my memory. I'm forgetting things a lot more. I have a good memory. I can read something once and I'll remember it days later. Here's another example sentence. Julia has a bad memory. She's always forgetting things when she goes out.
Memory 这个字呢，在课文中解释为记忆力。那在接下来的数个月当中啊 ，Alice 的 memory 她的记忆力越来越糟了。
Okay, so she can't remember maybe people. She's not sure what she's doing. And as a college professor, that's going to start getting difficult. You need to know all these facts. And as the article says, soon it affects her work so much that she has to give up her job.
很快的，这个病啊，严重到影响到她的工作，所以她必须放弃。
So the article continues. What does she do instead?
Alice forms a support group of other Alzheimer's patients, which makes her feel understood.
Right, so these are patients. Patients can be used to mean just any people seeing a doctor. The doctor has 10 patients this morning. But it could also refer to people who have a particular kind of disease, all the people with this disease. For example, we could say, some cancer patients lose their hair as a result of the drugs they have to take.
Patient 在这边当名词用哦，代表病人。那它当形容词用的时候，形容一个人有耐心的。那 Alice 也和其他的阿兹海默病人一起组成了一个支持团体，这也让她觉得被理解了。
Yeah, they will kind of get together, talk about how things are, what they can do, little tricks that they've found that help them. But as the article says, however, she struggles with not being busy. She can't work, she can't really do a lot of stuff, so what does she do with her time? And if you've got nothing to do, this will actually make your memory fall away quickly.
Right.
It's actually not a good situation to be in.
没错，所以呢，她的生活啊，和以前不太一样了。她没有以前那般忙碌 because she quit her job. 那这也让她感到很难适应。
Okay, so that is a difficult situation for Alice to be in. We're going to find more about it and end this story in day 3 of our article tomorrow. But right now, we're going to go to today's For You chat question.
For You chat.
So today's chat question concerns Lydia again. Now, she didn't take this test to find out whether she would get Alzheimer's. And the question is, why do you think Lydia doesn't want to know if she will get Alzheimer's?
I think because she wants to be an actress, she still wants to pursue her dream.
Right.
So she doesn't really want to know if she has the disease.
Okay, I actually think she's a little scared.
Yeah,
like
of course.
If she doesn't know, then she can kind of ignore it and push it away and just sort of hope it never happens.
Right.
Whereas if she finds out and the test says you will get it, then I mean you're gonna.
There's no way you're gonna live the same.
Right,
as before.
and yeah, because you kind of know, well, at some point this is going to hit me. So what's the point? You know, does that kind of destroy it? On the other hand, maybe it goes, well, I've got maybe 30 years until this could happen. I'm going to make the most of it. Because in some ways, knowing is actually better. It's freeing. You kind of go, okay, I know about the problem. Now I move forward. I'm not trapped by uncertainty. Yes, no, maybe I'll never find out for sure. You go, all right, I know about it. Let's deal with it.
Yeah, but some people might just give up on their life after they know that they'll have the disease.
It's true. Would you take this kind of test?
I would.
Yeah, me too. I would definitely want to know kind of how much time I'd got, and then I'd go, all right, quit the job and do something fun for the next...
I'll just stay on the couch if I had the disease.
No, I'd go like, all right, maybe I got 10 years before I forget things. Let's go crazy for 10 years.
Yeah.
Give me something to forget, as it were.
Right.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for today, but join us again tomorrow for part 3 of this story. We'll see you then. Bye for now.
Bye.
Vocabulary Review.
Anxious. Maggie is anxious about the exam tomorrow, but she has studied a lot, so she should be fine. Underlying. Underlying. Peter found out that his health issues were caused by an underlying problem he hadn't known about. Positive. Jason felt very worried when the doctor told him that he had tested positive for the disease. Refuse. Noah refused to go to bed, so his mom got angry with him. Memory. Now that David is getting old, his memory is getting worse and he often forgets things. Patient. Marco is a patient at this hospital and will stay here until he recovers from the disease.
智慧小补帖
Specialist. Genetic.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net